Let's understand what an informal letter is. Informal, that means you're not formal. Let's say I just took my phone and called my friend. Do I say, hello sir, very good morning? Sorry for disturbing you. No, you wouldn't say that. You talk in a way you talk to your friend, hey buddy, what's up? Isn't it? So that's being informal. You're actually pleading a person, you're begging, which you don't do with your friend, isn't it? Maybe you could have said, hey, don't worry, chill. If not this time, certainly next time we meet. I make sure the next time it's gonna be wonderful with you. We will have that, this. You're gonna patch up in that way. You're not beg and say, please, understand and all. No. The tone is completely wrong here. Hi everyone, Nakul here from SkillsIELTS. I really hope you guys are doing well. Well, today I'm going to talk about the informal letter. I did my own research and I came to know that there are very few informal letters available in the internet for the practice. So I decided I'll throw some light on this. So before we begin, I'd like to tell you that we conduct online classes. So if you're interested, you can check the information given in the description, find our email ID and send us a mail and avail our services. And not to miss any of the further updates, I request you kindly click on the bell icon and subscribe to my channel. I promise I'm going to see you soon with a lot of videos, something informative like this. And to add further, the previous set of videos which talk about the agree-disagree type and then the advantages and disadvantages type has a lot of grammar related stuff. And also talk about the coherence cohesion, which is an art, which is a progression. A lot of things have been shared there. So you need to finish those videos first if you haven't watched those. And once you finish them, then if you watch this video, probably you would understand in a much effective way. Well, that's my thought. So kindly finish those videos. The link has been shared in the description. Abundant of knowledge. And once you finish them, if you come here, a lot of things with respect to lexical resource, that is vocabulary and the grammar, you would easily understand. So saying this, we're going to quickly start with how to write an informal letter. Let's quickly start with it. So let's look at this question. You should spend 20 minutes to write this task. The question is, a friend is expecting you to stay with him in 2 weeks' time. Alright, the person is expecting you to come to his place, but in 2 weeks. But unfortunately, you forgot that you have a business trip at the same time. Okay, you're going to write a letter to your friend now, and the first bulletin point is apologize and say that you cannot come to visit. Second bulletin point, explain why you will not be able to visit. The third bulletin point, suggest another time you could visit. So before we actually understand the structure, let's understand what an informal letter is. Informal, that means you're not formal. Let's say I just took my phone and called my friend. Do I say, hello sir, very good morning? Sorry for disturbing you. No, you wouldn't say that. You talk in a way you talk to your friend, hey buddy, what's up? Isn't it? So that's being informal. At the same time, you have a formal letter. At the same time, you have semi-formal letter. Semi-formal letter is where you talk to a friend, but not for a friendly topic. The topic is something formal. Let's say your friend is the CEO of the company. You're sending a message or a mail or a letter to your friend about the formal matter. That becomes a semi-formal. So just by looking at the question, you should be in a position to understand if it is a formal letter, informal letter, or a semi-formal letter. This is the very primary step. And today we are talking about an informal letter. I'll not be discussing anything about formal or semi-formal. Only about informal letter is what I'm going to deal with today. So any letter writing, you need to have a structure. So let's define the structure as this 8-point structure. Don't have to really struggle to remember this. It will come in a flow over the period of time. The first one is the title, the opening salutation we call, which gives you an idea of your relationship with the reader of the letter. So basically there are multiple types of letter. For example, there could be a letter you're writing to your boss and you cannot say, hey buddy, to your boss because it doesn't make sense. Isn't it? So based on the type of the letter, you would choose the opening salutation, which is really, really important to make the reader understand your purpose. So for this letter, it is friend. So write in a way you would talk to a friend. Maybe you can say dear friend, or just the friend's name is also fine. You don't have to say dear sir or madam because it doesn't make sense. If you look at the 7th point here, this is the closing salutation. So whatever you start with, the similar way you will have a corresponding entry in this. Well, I'm going to explain you in just a while, but this is what it is. Since you're talking to a friend in this letter, you start with dear, the friend's name, as simple as that. But what about the signing of the closing salutation, which is the point 7? These are the short phrases that always go with few of the tone. For example, for the formal tone, you say dear sir or madam, and then yours faithfully. Just memorize them and write. For a semi-formal letter, you're gonna say dear Mr. Nakul, or you're gonna write the full name, yours sincerely, or kind regards. This is semi-formal letter. And for informal letter, you can just say dear Nakul. Here, whatever you want, you can write with your close friends, like best wishes, lots of love, lots of love. Anything is fine with respect to family or a close friend. Hope you are getting it. All we are concentrating on is this. So it starts with dear Nakul, and the signing off ends with best wishes or best regards, lots of love, or anything as such. Alright, we finished the title and the signing off. Now the number 2 is opening statement, the reason for the writing. This explains the pretty reason behind the writing. The opening statement for a formal letter and the informal letter completely differs. For the formal letter, you're going to say I'm writing this letter with regards to. And pretty much same for the semi-formal letter, don't have to worry, I'm going to make a separate video very soon. But for an informal letter, you talk the way you talk to your friend. For example, let's say you just called your friend, you say, hey buddy, what's up? Hope you're doing well. What are you up to these days? Correct? But not, don't take the literal meaning of that. That means you cannot say, hey buddy and all. When it is writing, you need to follow some protocols. But it should not sound formal at all in any way possible. You cannot use a formal tone. This is called tone. Correct? So you have to go with the informal tone. So here if you see, it's been so long since we last were in touch, but I haven't forgotten all the wonderful times we spent together last year. It's my birthday coming up and wanted to invite you over to stay at my place for the celebration. So this is being informal, and that's the opening statement. So once the opening statement is done, you're going to look at the question. There were 3 bulletin points given. Apologize and say that you cannot come to visit. Explain why you will not be able to visit. Suggest another time that you could visit. So accordingly, you're gonna write body 1 in detail with 2 to 3 lines or 4 lines for this, and the body 2 for this 3 to 4 lines, and then the body 3 for this separately in 3 different paragraphs. You got to do this separately in 3 different paragraphs. So the next is a closing statement. It's like looking forward to hearing from you soon, something of that sort. Here it becomes keep in touch, and then you're going to say lots of love, and then you're going to actually choose your name, something like this. It looks to your friend, and then you talk about hey buddy, how are you, blah blah blah, and then you actually get into the matter with 3 separate bulletin points as per given in the question, and then you say keep in touch, and then lots of love or best regards or anything informal, and then write your name. Very simple. This is easy, this is easy, this is easy, this is also easy, this is actually even more easier, but these 3 things we have to be careful, and this is what we're gonna understand next. So far we studied the structure of it. Structure is actually easy for a letter writing. You will get used to it as and when you start writing. But the problem with an informal letter, the reason why am I giving you or showing you an informal letter is there is some subtlety involved in it. Subtlety, what exactly you mean by that, Nakul? See, it's very simple. For a formal letter, you have to be really, really formal. For an informal letter, you have to use the informal tone. The tone is the point. Well, if you are not using an informal tone, believe me, you will not get any marks for that. Very less marks, and more than 7 certainly is not possible. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the letter writing for the same question with a different tone. Correct? I'll help you understand your mistakes, and then I'm going to talk about the actual tone, the informal tone that has to be used for this, so stay tuned till the end. So let's look at this question. A friend is expecting you to stay with him in 2 weeks. Same thing. Apologize and say that you cannot come to visit. Explain why you will not be able to visit. Suggest another time that you could visit. So let's look at this line, the very first line. Dear Rupa. That's an opening salutation, and this is an opening statement. Opening statement was supposed to be what? Hey buddy, how are you? Something of that sort. This is regarding my plans to stay with you at Mumbai, and I sincerely apologize that I will not be able to stay with you this time, as I have important business travel at the same time. So let's say your friend called you and you picked up the call and you heard this sentence. You're like, what's wrong with you? Isn't it? Same thing is going to happen. Same thing is going to happen for an examiner who reads your letter writing. So how do we change that? I'm going to explain you in just a while. Let's talk about this, the next paragraph, What it says is apologize and say that you cannot come to visit. That's the first bulletin point. The person said, it is my privilege to stay with you, but I completely overlooked the office meeting which is scheduled during the same time. I sincerely apologize for this. Well, the tone is completely wrong. This is how you write a formal letter, but certainly not an informal letter. Well, we will move on to the next one. It says, explain why you will not be able to visit. The next bulletin point. The person says, firstly, there was a significant drop in the sales which has enforced everyone to work. This is enforced and all very formal. We're being very formal. You don't talk like this with your friend, isn't it? In addition, do you say in addition? I'm not sure whether you really talk about these set of signposts when you talk to your friend. In addition to compensate for the loss, the sales department are going to arrange a meeting. This is very crucial for me as my presence here can greatly enhance my career. Will be good for my career. Instead, you could have told, try to maintain the tone. Since the dates clash with our planning, I have to cancel this meeting. Few of the stuff are totally fine, but most of the words used are completely formal. And then suggest another time that you could visit. I'm planning to visit your place in the month of April with my family, as my daughter will have summer vacation during that time. I hope you will surely understand my situation and also make yourself available in that month. So do you talk to your friend this way? I hope you will understand my situation. No, you don't say. Maybe you say, hey, come on man, chill. If not this time, certainly there's a next time. So these set of phrases has to be used. Wherever is possible, you're gonna completely change this tone. So next, I'm gonna help you understand how to change the tone, which is really, really important. And this is the base of this video, so stay tuned till the end. So the next, we will talk about how to fix the tone. We understood the problem, yes, that's the first step. Understanding the problem is the base. And once you know the problem, then let's fix it. So let's understand how to fix the tone. It's very simple. Understand the purpose and write accordingly. If it's informal, write almost in a way. Don't take little meaning of it. I'm not asking you to just speak and write the same way. No, almost in a way you end up speaking. Well, I'm gonna show it to you more about it. A friend is expecting the same question. So, dear Rupa, this is regarding, don't say all these things. It's gonna be, I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm just writing to let you know that I'll not be able to make it. That means I'll not be able to do it this time, to stay with you as planned before. I mean, that's okay, man. With your friend, you're gonna ask how the friend is, and you're gonna directly come to the point. That's totally fine. Or you could have said, I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm fine to convey my regards to your family, and I'm just writing to tell you that, or very sorry that I'll not be able to make it to stay with you as planned before. See the difference. Make a close observation. This has the grammar correct. This also is the correct, but this will not score you any mark because it's Rupa you're talking to, your close friend, and to a friend you certainly will not speak in this tone. Hope you're getting the significance. So let's look at the next paragraph. It is my privilege to stay with you, but I completely overlooked the office meeting which is scheduled during the same time. I sincerely apologize for this. Certainly this is completely wrong, though the grammar is all correct. It would have been really delightful or really great, you could have told, to be with you at your place, but I completely missed to tell you. This is how you speak to a person you know, isn't it? I completely missed to tell you about my business outing during the same time. See here, my mistake. See, this is how you speak most of the times. Okay, I agree, it's my mistake. Sorry on that. Should I do something to compensate for that? Something of that sort is expected in an informal letter, isn't it? My mistake. Now I'm really feeling bad to tell you that I cannot miss this trip. Sorry. See here, few set of phrases like this are actually giving a proper meaning to the tone so-called informal. This is purely formal. This is nice actually. This is fitting in. Hope you are getting it. This is not fitting in. Maybe you can pause the video and make a close observation. Now the next step is to understand how did I end up converting from this to this. This requires a bit of practice and a feedback, as simple as that. The more you engage yourself in writing and observing things this way, certainly you will be able to do it. My mistake. I cannot miss this trip. Sorry. Few things are completely informal. That's exactly what I'm telling you. So kindly pay more attention. Let's look at the next paragraph. This is still fine. Whatever I have written in the first paragraph to an extent is fine, but enforced, enhance my career. These are the common set of formal words. Significant drop is still fine. I would have written major fallback. Correct? Firstly, there was a significant drop in the sales, which has enforced everyone. See here, there is a fallback in the product sales that got me worrying. That's how you would talk to a friend. Yes or no? I hope you're saying yes. And in addition, I don't think you would use these terms with your friend, man. Come on. To rectify things, the sales department are going to arrange a meeting in 2 weeks. That very much demands my presence, or which very much needs me. Everything is fine. Since the dates clash with our planning, I may have to cancel the meeting. Meeting cancelled. May have to cancel meeting you this time. Almost most of the things are the same, but few words I changed. Enhanced my career. Enforced everyone. Few things I completely changed because those words are not fitting in for an informal letter. Let's continue. I'm planning to visit your place in the month of April with my family, as my daughter will have summer vacation during that time. I hope you will surely understand. You're pleading. You're actually pleading a person. You're begging, which you don't do with your friend, isn't it? Maybe you could have said, hey, don't worry, chill. If not this time, certainly next time we meet. I make sure the next time it's gonna be wonderful with you. We will have that, this. You're gonna patch up in that way. You're not beg and say, please, understand and all. No. The tone is completely wrong here. Hope you are getting it. That is the intention of the video. So when you start writing a letter writing, correct, you need to look at the question and understand if it is a formal, informal or semi-formal, and accordingly you're going to decide. You're going to set that particular tone. You're going to switch, have a switch here. 3 switches as per the the type of the letter writing. You're going to click that switch, put that switch on, and turn your focus towards that tone. The tone is very important. If the tone is wrong, believe me, you will not get any marks. It's not about excellent words, high-five words. The tone is only the tone in the letter writing. So if not this time, there's always a next time. I hope to wind up things at my end very soon, and should be definitely available anytime starting from next month. This is how you write an informal letter. Pay more attention to this. Do let me know if this is fine. Waiting to hear from you. Keep in touch. I hope you will surely understand the situation and also make yourself available in that month. See, grammar wise fine, tone wise completely goofed up. Hope you are getting it, and there is no perfect answer for this. Nakul, how do I ensure I write only this? Now you can write anything, but make sure the tone is informal. As simple as that. Probably you need the feedback. Well, if you have watched my other videos of essay, I've started with a very important imperative thing called evaluation criteria. Unless we know the evaluation criteria, whatsoever, how much ever you practice, it all goes in vain, because you still are not sure whether whatever you're writing is giving you or is fetching you more than 7. For that, you need to understand how you are evaluated. So you can check my other videos of essay. Those videos will clearly in detail explain you about the evaluation criteria, but here as well, I'm going to go in brief. So first we understand the task response with respect to the letter written. Task response is very simple. You just have to deal with this. You got to apologize, you got to say sorry or something, otherwise task response is not given mark, and you say that you cannot come to visit with a small reasoning. And then the next paragraph, you're going to talk about why you will not be able to visit. Probably you should talk about you have some other appointments. And then suggest another time. These 3 things, if it is there, then task response is perfect. That's exactly what we have written here. We have written, it would have been really delightful, but I completely missed to tell you, sorry. Each and everything has been written. Next, why you are not able to meet? Because there is a meeting arranged in the office. It's something important for me. And arrange the next date. Yes, next month, summer, somewhere I have written. Wind up things. Definitely available anytime starting next month. So task response is perfect. Everything is answered accordingly in the order of the question given. Apologize and say you cannot come to visit. Explain the reason behind not visiting, and then suggest another time. Great. Now we will talk about lexical resource. The entire thing is about informal tone. Great, you don't have to really worry about it. So here most of them are the informal words. And also to tell you one more thing, the contractions. See here, apostrophe is the one you are actually contracting the word. You're not writing the full set of word in detail. So what I mean by contraction is, let's say, do not and don't. Madam and ma'am. Ma'am spelling is not M-A-M, it is M-A''A''M. Cannot and can't. Shouldn't and should not. Correct? So in a essay, you don't have this luxury of adding the contractions, but in letter writing, based on the type of the letter, you are supposed to use a contraction. For the formal and semi-formal, better don't use even for a semi-formal. For an informal one, wherever you get a chance, you got to use that. So like here I've used you're doing, I'm just waiting, and I'll not be, probably I would have used here as well, but not every time. Whenever you think yes there is a need, 3 to 4 are more than enough. 3 to 4 are more than enough. So that's about the term lexical resource, which is about informal words and then modifiers we call. See here, it would have been really delightful. It would have been delightful. Really delightful is giving a better meaning. But I completely missed. This is a modifier. Now I'm really feeling bad. If you think you have repeated the word, then maybe you can use a different word or you can remove it. And I hope to wind up things. See, these are some of the phrases, informal phrases you got to use. And here at my end very soon, and should be definitely available. I should be available, should be definitely available is actually giving a better meaning. So wherever is possible, you got to use the modifier. And that's all about the lexical resource. Next, the grammar is all about sentence structure and models, like I told you before. Sentence structure is nothing but there has to be a mixture of simple sentence, compound and complex. And models, like I told you, will, would, can, could, may, might, shall, should. If possible, wherever is possible, you use it. Don't, intentionally try to create a scenario just to use them. It may not look good. So here if you see the very first sentence, I hope you're doing fantastic. Simple sentence. I'm just writing to tell you that I will not be able to make it to stay with you as planned before. This is again a simple sentence, but a relative clause is there. Alright, it would have been really delightful to be with you at your place, but, so we used a connector here, it became a compound sentence. My mistake. Now I'm really feeling bad to tell you that I cannot miss this step. Again, a relative clause will come with a simple sentence. So we have one simple sentence, one relative clause, one compound sentence, one relative clause. Already we are having a mixture of them. Actually, it was a major fallback. So this is also a modifier, which I missed to tell you in the lexical resource section. It was a major fallback in the product sales that got me worrying. Again, the relative clause. To rectify things, the sales department team are going to arrange a meeting that very much demands my presence. Again, relative clause, which is nothing but a complex sentence. Since the date, see, whenever you create a dependency, it becomes a complex sentence. Since I went to hotel, as I have exam tomorrow, you cannot put a full stop. You have to couple it up with a independent sentence. Since the days clash with your planning, I may have to cancel you this time, meeting you this time. So we have one complex sentence, two relative clauses, and one complex sentence. Here we have one compound sentence and one small phrase, and we have one relative clause. Here simple sentence and a relative clause. So we have got some 3 relative clauses, 2 simple sentences, and 1 compound and 1 complex. We already have a mixture of them, so you don't have to worry about the last sentence, last paragraph. If not this time, there's always the next time. Complex sentence, it's a dependency, complex sentence. I hope to wind up things at my end very soon, and I should be definitely available starting anytime next month. A compound sentence, because 2 independent sentence connected using a connector. So we have all got the mixture of the simple sentence, compound and complex, so it should be fine. Sentence structure should be totally fine. I really hope so. And then we take up the models. Believe me, models do convey things effectively. Very, very important. Don't insert it just for the sake of inserting. Okay, don't create a situation just for the sake of inserting. If you're a good writer, if you want to convey an idea effectively, you would get that model for sure. Believe me on this. I'm just writing to let you know that I will not be able to make it. You're 10% sure about it. I am not going to come. I will not be able to make. Will is used when you're 10% sure about it. That's one of the model. This is talking about a future. It would have been really delightful. It would have been great to be with you next week. This is a possibility in the future becomes would. Now I'm really feeling bad to tell you that I cannot miss this trip. Cannot is fitting in here. Cannot is talking about the possibility that I cannot miss this trip. And since the dates clash with our planning here, I may have to cancel. So this is, you're not sure completely, but you're telling that I may have to cancel the meeting. A may is fitting in properly with the probability of 50%. If not this time, there is always a next time. I hope to wind up things at my end, and I should be definitely available. Should is like must. Or will be is also fine here, or should is also fine, depending on whichever the word you use, you can use. But all I'm telling you is, see there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 models are used, and all of them will look good actually. The marks will certainly be improved when you couple it up with the different sentence structures with some of the models. So after this, we are left with coherence and cohesion. Well, coherence, cohesion is nothing but the flow of the ideas. And yes, we are putting the ideas one after the other. That's called the cohesion. Coherence is nothing but, let's say you are doing a pronouns referencing. To do this, you told a sentence, and to find a solution for this, that word this is the coherence acting on the previous word. So in the letter writing, it may not be so easy to explain what coherence cohesion is, but certainly in the essay video, I have clearly explained for more than 15-20 minutes as to what coherence cohesion is. So here let's look at the letter and understand regarding coherence cohesion as well. So if you see there, the second paragraph, I would have been really delightful to be with you, but I completely missed to tell you. And now this is the thing that turns the focus of the reader from the possibility to the present, and this is a very good coherence being used here. Actually, you're starting with the signpost. It was a major fallback in the product sale that got me worrying, and to rectify this is the coherence that is acting on the previous things. Previously in this paragraph we talk about got me worrying, there is some fallback to rectify things. So that's one of the coherence, but not much has been used with respect to the signpost. We call these as signposts now, actually rectify things. Firstly, secondly, not very much being used because it's an informal letter. But if you see the ideas there, the major fallback was the first one, and then you talk about the solution as to what to be done. And because of that, since the dates clash, I may have to cancel. So the ideas are correlated is what I am telling you. Lot of people, what they write one idea, they write another idea, they write another idea. 4 ideas, they just shoot in all the directions, one direction, one direction, one direction, one direction. As opposed to having an idea and build on top of it. Having an idea, build on top of it, is called articulation, and that's exactly the cohesion, which has been done pretty much well here. And if not this time, there's always a next time. I hope to wind up things. After this, it is related to the next line and even in the first line as well. So I think overall the coherence is totally fine too. So I really hope the session was helpful and you understood how to write an informal letter. It's basically all about the tone. When you know what tone has to be used and when you're good at it, things will easily fall in place. So whatever you write, evaluate yourself with respect to 4 components, that is grammar, task response, coherence, cohesion, lexical resource. Do not forget that, and if you need any help, any point of time, you can always send us a mail to avail our services. Saying this, I'm going to end the video here. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, kindly do subscribe and don't forget to watch my other videos. Saying this, I'll park it here guys. Thanks much for your time and participation.